Hello there, Stat331. Today we're going to be talking about the foreign package, and as I install this, I will kind of brief you guys on exactly what the foreign package is used for, why would you want to use it. So the foreign package, it is a great tool to import and translate files into different formats, including Minitab, SAS, Stata, a bunch more, but today specifically we're going to talk about SAS and Stata files. And as you can see, if you look at the help info to get a little more info on the package, you see there's many more different extensions you can use for specific software packages. But yeah, like I said, we're going to be talking about SAS and Stata files specifically, mainly because they just pertain more to Cal Poly statistics students. But yeah, you can use a lot more than what we talk about today. So there's two different classes of read and writes that you can use for foreign. So the reads will take in files, the writes will export files of various file types depending on what you specify. So here we're using Stata, which is just a general purpose statistical analysis package. And so we're reading in a file that's labeled airline data, and the function's only necessary parameter is the file name. But the function requires a file path and a file name to be in quotes. We are all familiar with that. But there are also additional parameters with given default values, but we decided to list them just so you guys could see exactly what you can use when you're reading in Stata files. So convert.dates is defaulted to true, and it is used to convert Stata dates to the date class. Convert.factors uses Stata value labels to create factors when set to true. And then for Stata file in version 8 or later, missing.types will store information about missing data. And then convert._, which is defaulted to false, will change all underscores to periods. And then lastly, on the far right here, warning.missing.labels is defaulted to true, which warns if a variable is specified with value labels and those value labels are not present in the file. So if we run this real quick, you can see exactly that it successfully converts the Stata data into data that can be read into R, as seen here.
Okay, now we're going to write out our data that we just imported to the desktop. So this function is a write.dta function, and it writes out all Stata files. The two necessary parameters are the data frame that you're working with and the file, which is the file location. The next parameter is version, and R can only support versions up to version 10, but it's defaulted to 7L. The next parameter is convert.dates, which is defaulted to true, and it converts the dates back to Stata date format. Next one is TZ, which stands for time zone, and that determines what time zone the dates will be transferred to in Stata format. The default is GTM, and the final parameter, convert.factors, is defaulted to value labels for the factor levels, but the other options are labels, strings, numeric, or codes. Okay, now we're going to run this code, and it will write out to a file. We won't see the file or any output because it's just saved to the computer. Our next function works with SAS export files, and we're going to read in a SAS export file. We started in SAS and we converted the file to export format, and then if you look at the data in SAS, it looks like this, and then we imported it into R using the read.export function. The read.export function only requires a file name as a parameter, so we just put the directory, and then if we run it, and we can look at the code in the variable, and it looks the same as it did in SAS. We also tried some of the other read-in functions, but some are more outdated, like the one for Minitab, and others are less common, more specific, or even more expensive than the ones we used.